98 FM. Dublin Talks. Call 6797 981.
And good morning from Adrian Kennedy. It is Wednesday morning, Wednesday the 8th of April 2020. Now, we've a lot of things to talk to you about on the programme today. But first off, I want to find out, as you know, most barbers, hairdressing salons, tanning salons, nail salons, beauty salons have all been closed for several weeks now. And while it's not the biggest problem in the world at the moment, for some people, it's a bit of a disaster. Some women and men are in dire need of a haircut. Some women who always get their nails done now have a handful of chewed fingernails and are panicking over that. Also, women are taking to social media to post videos of themselves doing their fella's hair. I'll give you an example of one in just a second. But what I want to find out from you right now is what beauty or hair treatment are you missing the most? Have you, if you're a fella, let the woman in your life have a go at your hair? I'm struggling now, I have to be honest. The hair is getting a little bit long, and I have to debate to myself whether I'll let herself have a go at it over the weekend. I'll have to give that a long, hard think, or do I want long hair? That's where I'm at. So I would like to hear from you on 6797 981. You can, text, WhatsApp, or send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. I want to hear from you about how you're coping at the moment with your beauty regime, whatever that is, whether you're a man or a woman. How are you coping with the lack of beauty? Because we all like to, do ourselves up. We all like to keep all trimmed and everything else. So what are you missing the most? Call me right now on 6797 981. You can text, WhatsApp, or send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. What is the one thing you're missing the most, and how are you coping? And if you've let the woman in your life have a go at your hair, if you're a bloke, how did that work out for you? Call me right now on 6797 981. Now, our Jeremy is socially distanced from me in a different studio, and he is here because yesterday you allowed Mrs. D to have a go at your hair.
No, allow is the wrong word.
Oh.
I gave in.
Oh.
For the last 2 weeks, I get my hair cut. I don't know, how often do you get your hair cut?
About once a month.
Yeah, I'm once a month as well. Usually at the end of the month when I get paid, I go to the hairdresser. So it's been a while since I got my hair done. It was looking, well, according to my wife, she said I looked like Wurzel Gummidge.
Yeah, you did.
Oh.
Yeah, she's right there, yeah. Anyway, go on.
So we have a Remington, those Remington razors. We have one of those at home. And she said, listen, I've never cut hair before. Well, she has. She's cut a dog or cat's hair.
Oh, yeah.
Because in her work, sometimes she has to shave them before she operates on them. So, and I said, well, cut my hair isn't like shaving a poodle to neuter it. You know what I mean? It's kind of different. And she said, well, the principle's the same. So, listen, what's the worst that can happen? You're not going out anywhere. So if I ruin your hair, put a baseball cap on you, you're only going to work every day. Nobody is going to notice the difference. So I said, okay, I gave in. And I sat down. So she set up a little studio in the living room, put the gown around me.
Yep.
Asked me, was I going anywhere nice on holidays? No, she didn't ask me that. And she cut my hair. She did a fade. Do you know what a fade is?
Sort of. Yeah, sort of, yeah.
You haven't got a clue. You're
it's longer at the top and shorter at the bottom.
That's exactly what it is, where you fade it in. And, well, you saw me this morning. You were sitting over the opposite sides. What did you think of the job she did?
She didn't cut a lot off.
Did I look like a neutered poodle?
No.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah. Right.
Well, no, she didn't cut a lot off.
No, she didn't. Because I didn't really notice it.
No, but it's all about, gradual looks. And she did a 3-blade around the ears and at the back and stuff like that, and just cut a bit off the fringe. In fairness, with my hair, there's very little you can actually do. But I think it was good. I'd let her do it again. I mean, if my barber's isn't open in another month, she'd be doing it again. But I can't be the only man that let their partner do it.
No, in fact, there's a great video on YouTube I was looking at earlier on, and it's this couple in England who decided to give it a go, her cutting his hair. Let's just have a listen to a little bit of this video. Here we go. Hang on there now.
I'm going to be cutting my partner's hair. I can't believe he's actually trusted me to do this. This is the first ever haircut that I've done, so I'm nervous, but I feel like I've got it.
I want you to run, when you're running through, I want you to run the comb through.
It's too much instruction, just let me do it. You have to be a bit rough with it, don't you?
Well, you're just rough anyway, so... You're doing alright though. You've seen the hair drop.
All the way up, yeah?
To that line that you drew, yeah.
Can I do it this way?
Well, you can do it that way to draw the line in if you want. What?
You're a baby.
I'm just wondering why you're grabbing the back of my head like you're strangling me.
I'm stretching the skin. What do you say?
Why are you strangling me? That's what I said.
Right, so there's that couple on that YouTube video.
No, she actually did a decent job in his hair.
Yeah, but she shaved it all off nearly. So anyway, and you've just sent me a photograph there of your young fella having his hair cut.
Yeah, so after I got my hair done, she said to Luke, he's 5, she said, now you're up next. And I sent you that photograph, Adrian, because look at the fear in his face. He looks
absolutely terrified.
He's sitting in the chair in the living room with the towel wrapped around him, and
he looks terrified.
He does. And my wife has the Remington razor to his head. But here's the thing, for people of our generation, when we were growing up, well, I know in our house, we did not go to get our hair cut. Our mothers used to cut our hair.
That's right, yeah.
You know, the old bowl around the head and stuff like that.
Yep.
It was unheard of years ago that kids would go to barbers and hairdressers. I mean, did you go to Tony and Guy when you were 10 to get a haircut?
No, I didn't. No, my mammy did it, and she literally put a bowl around my head. All right, we would like to hear from you. So anyway, you survived the ordeal of your wife cutting your hair, and your child did as well.
I think my hair looked... Now, my hairdos normally cost about €25.
So this is a way to start saving.
Would I get her to do it again? If the barbers are still closed in a month time, yeah, I will.
Okay, very good. All right, thanks, Jeremy. We'd like to hear from you on 6797981. You can text, WhatsApp, or send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. When it comes to your grooming, what are you missing most? That's what we want to find out. Let's have a listen to this WhatsApp voice note.
Mine is my eyebrows. I'm so embarrassed. I can't even look at people. It's so embarrassing.
In fact, who's on line 1 here? Hello?
Hi.
Hi, who's... Ciara, how are you, Ciara?
Good, how are you?
Ciara, you also are missing your eyebrows.
Yeah.
Now,
I can't actually look in the mirror.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're desperate.
Now, you see, I'm a man, and us men have it really easy when it comes to grooming. And when it comes to eyebrows... I just get a razor yoke and go, and that's it. But it's not like that for women. Sure, it's not.
No, it would be the equivalent of a man that goes to the barbers every 2 weeks and can't live without going. Like, I go and see my eyebrow girl every 2 weeks. I would consider her an essential service.
Yeah, I know there are an awful lot who think the exact same thing about their personal grooming, that it's an essential service. So, what's happening? Are they like growing out of control?
Yeah.
And is there nothing you can do yourself?
I'd rather... Nobody's going to see me. If I go out for my exercise or go to the supermarket or wherever, I wear sunglasses to hide them. I'd rather...
Really?
Yeah, and I'm going to text my
bad?
boss. Yeah, so when I return to work, I need a day before I go back into the office to go and get these done.
You literally... are so embarrassed that you couldn't... Yeah. So if your boss was to ring you next Tuesday and say, guess what, we're reopened for business, will you come straight in, you'd have to say, no, I'll have to leave it till tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll take a holiday day. See you tomorrow.
Oh, my God. I'd love to see a photograph. You probably look great, but...
No.
Well, here, stay there for a second.
Okay.
Cindy.
Hi, Adrian. How are you?
You have a razor that you use for trimming the dog, is that right?
Yes, but I didn't tell my son it was the dog's razor.
Oh, right, okay.
It's my 12-year-old, he's ginger and his hair grows really fast.
Right.
So myself and my 21-year-old said we'd pay him money to let us cut his hair. So he agreed to let us cut his hair. And it was only after we cut it that we told him it was the dog's razor.
And what did he say?
He was actually happy with the haircut. It turned out really well.
Well, I'm looking at it here. You sent a photograph of it.
Yeah.
That's a mighty fine haircut.
Yeah, I think I missed my calling.
Well, I think you did as well.
I have to say, my son Keith, he's 21, he did help as well, so it was a joint family effort.
Right, so it's looking at it, it's fairly tight at the back, so you did that with the razor. And did you scissor cut the top?
I just ran the razor across the front way, not back, so I just pinned it out.
Right, but fair play.
With a different fixture on it. I just put the longer fixture on it.
Well, fair play to you, Cindy.
His name is Daryl, and he was very good for letting us have a go anyway.
Well, fair play to you, Daryl. That is really, really good. That's a great haircut. You definitely missed your calling, Cindy.
Thanks, Adrian.
Thank you. What are you missing most about your personal grooming? Here is a WhatsApp voice note.
Hi Adrian, I'm not really missing any beauty treatments or regimes because for the past 20 years I've been shaving my own hair. I haven't been to a barber's in over 20 years. I wouldn't even know what it's like inside a barber's if I went into one. But as I said, I've been shaving it for the last 20 years and I have it to a T. Blade one all over all the time.
Fair play. That's nice and simple. And like I said, it's us men that have it much easier, it has to be said. Keep your messages coming in. 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. We would like to hear from you about what it is about your personal grooming that you're missing the most and how are you coping. You just heard that lady there can't go outside her front door without sunglasses on because her eyebrows are in such a state. Here's another WhatsApp voice note.
Hello guys, to be honest, one of the things which I really miss the most will be my hair dyeing. I would like to put some color because, to be honest, in this moment I'm looking like a zebra. 10,000 colors or like kind of rainbow. It's really disturbing. So I wish to put some color. I don't know what about others, but for me it will be exactly color. I cannot watch my grey. Oh my God, cheers. Oh God.
Now this is a problem for an awful lot of people, the colour in their hair, and some people who are covering up the grey with the colour in their hair, we're going to start realising actually are a little bit greyer than we ever thought. Me included, by the way. The grey is really starting to come out in my head. Keep them coming in. 0877 98 98 98. We're talking about personal grooming and how you're coping and what are you missing the most during this time. This message has just been sent in to us.
Hi Adrian. Yeah, mine is my haircut. I usually go in every 2 weeks or 3 weeks to the salon, to the barbers and then get it cut. But then no joy now. And then I wouldn't let my missus do the hair because she'd leave me with nothing there. So what I've done is I'm actually I have an afro now, so I bought an afro comb. Thank God I have an afro comb. So what I'm going to do is let my hair grow like that of Will Smith from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So at the end of this COVID-19, I probably have a hair as long as God knows what. Thanks, guys. Oldie, bye.
Brilliant. Thank you very much indeed. Aideen, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Aideen.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good, thank you, Aideen. You're just missing the hairdresser experience.
Yeah, I just want to be on my own for a while. I just want somebody else to wash my hair and give me a cup of tea and let me sit there and do nothing.
Yeah, you see, it is kind of having your hair done, and it's I know with women because it takes an awful lot longer with women. Having
it takes around 4 hours.
Yeah, having your hair done is me time, isn't it?
It is, yeah, especially when you have a small child. So I'm missing the just sitting on my own for a while.
Okay, so yeah. So do you miss that 4 hours, the cup of tea, the switch off, getting away from the house, all of that?
Just the chit chat and having someone else wash my hair. I just hate washing my own hair.
Yeah, I know. And have you cut it at all?
Oh yeah, I've cut the front of it. I would have done that myself anyway. Normally that wouldn't have bothered me, but I haven't coloured it, so my roots are a bit mad.
And how long will it be, or long will it take before your colour, your hair colour, is back to its original colour?
I don't even think about that.
Really?
Oh gosh, yeah.
That thought actually fills you with dread, does it?
Yeah, the state of it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's grey now, but yeah, it's like a reddish brown colour, and I'm blonde. So
right.
Yeah.
So you're dreading the thought of all of your colour growing out of your hair.
Yeah. Oh my god, I never actually thought about that. Might have to do a DIY job at home.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, unless you've done it before, I wouldn't be recommending doing that. Have you ever coloured your own hair?
Yeah, sure. I've been dyeing it since I was 16, so it wouldn't be a problem. It just
you prefer to get it done professionally.
Oh yeah, they always do a way better job.
All right. Well, hopefully the hairdressers will be open before all your natural colour comes back. Thanks for talking to us, Adrian.
Thanks very much. Have a good day. Bye.
Keep them coming in to 0877. We'll just deal with this for another couple of minutes. We're talking about your personal grooming and what it is that you're missing the most about personal grooming during this time. We'll take a very quick break and we'll bring you a couple more straight after the break. Don't go away.
The sound of the city from Adamstown to Artane.
Dublin Talks.
98 FM's Dublin Talks.
And this is Adrian Kennedy. Gavin sent me this WhatsApp voice note about his mate.
Yeah, Adrian, call out Harry Pike on the radio, will you? And tell him to let Karma cut his hair. I can't believe you thought about this. We were only talking about this yesterday, and he loves his hair. He's only young, Harry. He's like, I don't know whether to let Karma cut my hair or something, but the barbers are shut. That's brilliant. That is just fair play to you, Jeremy.
Thank you, Gavin. Shay, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Shay?
Getting hairy, Adrian.
Yeah, we all are. We all are.
Yeah, I would be considered normally bald, and I'd keep my hair like what's left at a half a blade. And I don't own a razor, and the barber does it every week and a half or so. I go to Vic and the barber. Vic does it for me, and it's grand. And now it's at least over half an inch long.
Really?
Yeah, and the problem with my hair is, Adrian, when I was young, I had very curly hair, naturally curly hair. So it doesn't grow out nice and spiky and straight like it looks, I'm trying to look cool. It just goes all over the place. It's just, I'm considering to buy a hairbrush and some hair gel at this stage.
Really? It's getting that long? And have you no trimmer, have you no hair trimmer thing at home, no?
I've never done it myself. I've never bought it, because you just go to the barber, he only charges me a couple of quid for doing it. So it's grand, he does the ears and all the eyebrows and all that, so it's great. So now I'm looking at my hair going, just stay to me. The lads tell me I look like a plucked chicken going around the place with this. It's at least half an inch long, if not more.
And you haven't had it like that for years?
I haven't seen it. It's like a head of fluff. It's just horrible. And I'm going, I'm considering hair gel now at this stage, is what I consider it.
All right, well, here's a challenge for you, Shay. Don't touch it. Leave it continue to grow, and send us a photograph a before and after photograph in a couple of weeks' time. How about that?
All right, we'll see. No matter.
Fair play. Thanks, Shay.
Take it easy.
Excuse me. There's a lot coming in. These are we're talking about the grooming that you're missing, the personal grooming. This lad says. Sorry, this person says her husband is not happy with her eyebrows.
Hey Adrian, the other day my husband took a chunk out of his leg with an angle grinder, and we went to get it stitched up at the doctor's. So when we came out of the doctor's, he turned to me and said, I don't know what's worse, my leg or your eyebrows.
Now, surely your legs you can do yourself, no? Maybe I'm wrong. Here's Nico cut his own hair, apparently.
Morning, Adrian. Nico here. Yeah, for me, my hair, I cut my hair and then I don't lose money in my hair. Only on few special occasions. This is where I go to the barber, but all good. Thanks, guys.
Somebody texted in, I mentioned the fact that my hair is going all grey. Does Adrian dye his hair? No, I don't. Never have. But the longer it gets, the greyer it gets. So you usually keep it fairly tight so you can't see the grey. Just cut it out. Claire really misses her hairstylist.
Hi, my name is Claire. I can't wait to get my hair done because my friends are going to call me Snow White if they saw me now. So can't wait to see Rachel to do my hair.
Very good. Darren says they're all gone hairy in his house.
How Adrian, if you're looking for big fun, the Hendersons, you can drop up to our house. We're all overgrown.
Yes, some very good ones coming in. And finally, this is from Stephen.
My wife's landing strip now looks like a gorse bush. That's my problem.
Oh, sorry. I wasn't expecting that. He did say what you thought he said. He did.
My wife's landing strip now looks like a gorse bush. That's my problem.
Oh, right. Okay. The chemists are still open. You can actually buy stuff for that. Anyway, thank you very much indeed. My hair is growing back. It's growing back as an afro, and I look like a poodle. Says that message. Listen, if you're looking for help for your personal grooming, because this is something we all have to deal with, hairstylist Katrina Kelly has set up a website called Stay Social and Educate. And the aim is to get everyone to stay in and stay safe and follow tutorials, DIY hair and makeup sessions. One little catch, but it's a great little catch, is the only way to do this and to access the tutorials is by donating some money to charity. And Katrina Kelly joins me on the line. Katrina, welcome to 98 FM.
Thank you, Adrian. How are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
I am amazing.
Right, we've spent the last half hour talking to our listeners about the struggles that they're having with their own personal grooming, as you may have heard. And some people really, really struggling, colouring their hair, eyebrows, nails, you name it. We've heard about it in the last couple of minutes. Tell me about Stay Social and Educate.
Okay, so I guess for us, the one thing that we want to get across is we want people to stay in and stay safe, but we also want them to stay social. And our salon is called Cut Social, so that's where that name came from. But a lot of people love tutorials. So what we wanted to do was to be able to, I guess, give back to the front line. So our charities are the Matter Foundation and Alone Ireland as well. And so we wanted people to, I guess, to be educated, stay in, have fun. So we have tutorials in hair, makeup. We're going to have some funny tutorials as well, where some men are going to be doing their wives' makeup.
Oh, that should be fun.
Well, we might get you guys on as well.
Well, actually, I had a funny experience last week. I was on the television in RTE last week. Because of social distancing, the makeup you have to get a bit of makeup on before you go on the telly. And because of social distancing, the makeup artists can't do your makeup anymore. So I had to do my own makeup to go on the telly last week, which was hilarious. I can't imagine my missus letting me have a go at doing her makeup now. I might ask her.
Yeah, you should. So the main aim really is to raise as much funds as we possibly can. I think we're close to 1,600 in less than 48 hours now.
And this, once again, is for the Matter Foundation
and Alone Ireland.
Excellent. That is fantastic. So, in order to access these tutorials, you have to pay a few bob. How much do you have to pay?
So the least amount is €2. So you can either rent or you can purchase the tutorial, or you can buy in bundles. So you can buy in bundles and spend more. Now, you can also bypass that and just go straight on and donate. But what we've decided to do is anyone who does donate and doesn't watch a tutorial, we're going to still send them a free coupon so they can watch tutorials. So because we really do appreciate everybody that's donating. Like, it's just unreal. The amount of people that's getting behind this is amazing.
That's fantastic,
also,
yeah.
We also know, doing your hair and doing your makeup, those little things that you do for yourself, that little bit of extra self-care, makes you feel good. So, and at the moment, our clients and myself, I have grey hair and I have roots, and I'm not going to colour. I could colour my own hair, but I'm not going to. And for that as well, we are trained professionals, so we're trying to deter people away from, doing home colours or cutting hairs with scissors, because at the end of the day, you're not professional, and it's really, really important to make sure that we don't have anybody going into our A&Es right now with anaphylactic shock or cutting fingers or anything like that.
And this is a serious point on this whole thing, that a lot of people don't realise the actual skill that hairdressers and beauty therapists and all of that actually have.
Absolutely. We've been training for years, and it's working with chemicals. Like, I actually think that I'm a hair scientist. Like, that's what I call myself, because there's so much involved in it. And I get acrylic nails done, and I love getting them done, and I'm missing them. But I would never attempt to do acrylic nails on my own nails at home, but I will paint them. I'll polish them. So really what we're doing is tutorials that's going to kind of polish us little rough diamonds up the way we are right now and make us feel good about ourselves. We're keeping the technical side to the professionals when you do come back. And guys, clients, we miss you. We cannot wait to do your hairs and your makeups and make you feel good. But right now, I would say use this time wisely to really protect and look after your hair. If you want your hair to grow, treat it like to the best, like most online salons, most hair salons, their online shops are still open, so you can really get some really nice treatments for your hair and looking after your hair. But there also is, if you're concerned about grey hair, you can use root sprays. You can make a shadow paste, so eyeshadow will really help too. So the likes of black eyeshadows and brown. If you don't, obviously I would prefer you to get the product, because the product sprays are better. But there is home remedies that you can do, and I am going to do a tutorial on Stay Social and Educate as well, of how to cover greys up and stuff. So that'll be a really good one for people to tune in and donate. So that's the main thing, really. Okay,
well, fair play to you, Katrina. The fundraising aspect of this is what I like the most, I have to say. Now, obviously, so give me a couple of ideas of the sorts of tutorials that you have up there so far.
So far we have wave tutorials, we've bouncy blow dry tutorials, we've how to apply your Velcro rollers in. We have a brown and smoky eye tutorial. Today there's 3 new tutorials going up for longer, thicker hair. One about treatments, and then tomorrow there'll be more. So every day we're actually going to be uploading about 2 tutorials each day. And we were going to do this for 2 weeks, but now we're actually going to stretch it out for a month, because we want to raise as much awareness and as much funds as we possibly can for our charities.
Fantastic. And once again, so I'm on your website here, hair and makeup tutorials, and you donate and get access now, and the minimum donation is €2, which is nothing really if you think about it. But the money going to the Matter Foundation and Alone Ireland, who are doing fantastic work with our elderly.
Absolutely.
They really are. They're going above and beyond at the minute, so they could do with any funds that they can possibly get. Katrina, it's a fantastic idea. I hope this little plug today will help more people to donate for the Matter Foundation and Alone Ireland. And once again, the website is staysocialandeducate.com. That's it. That's really all one word. staysocialandeducate.com, and you will see all of the different tutorials that are on that website, and you can donate money to the Matter Foundation and Alone Ireland. It's a brilliant idea, Katrina.
Thank you.
Now, finally, I saw you on the telly the other night, and Nathan and his brother. I can't remember the brother's name.
Jake.
Jake. Nathan and Jake Carter. And Jake was cutting Nathan's hair.
Yes.
Should men if they happen to have at home,
Clippers, yeah.
Should they let their better half have a go at it?
I mean, I would say, if you trust them.
Well, you wouldn't be living with them if you didn't trust them, so...
Well, that's true. I would say, just like trimming, don't go too far with it because, men really do like the hair as well. So if you've kind of only two options, really. It's like, picking maybe a 4 on the guard or a 6 on the guard and just doing a buzz cut all over. So or trimming around the edges. I wouldn't kind of go in for with the scissors. An all-in haircut. Yeah, just a trim, something to tide you over. That's what we want. If people just little things to tide you over. Don't go deep in. But yeah, sure.
Okay, I'm gonna let her have a go at it over the weekend, and I'll report back to you next week.
The before and after picture.
All right, good to talk to you, Katrina, and well done once again. The website is staysocialandeducate.com, and there's lots of different tutorials on there. You have to pay a few bob, but it is all in aid of the Matter Foundation and Alone Ireland, both of whom are doing amazing work at this particular time. So well done, Katrina, and thanks very much for talking to us. Actually, sorry, before I let you go, I've been asked to play this WhatsApp message for you. See if you any advice here.
I'm missing the most is my fringe cut. I have a very definite, strong fringe, so I wouldn't dare attempt myself. And I'll have to pin it back soon with a clip or something, which will be pretty uncool. Thanks.
Could you do your own fringe?
So again, recommendations with fringes, what we would recommend is using the likes of a small scissors, just like a nail scissors, something that you're not going to cut your fingers with. And just tiny little trims, like we would, again, just being very, very careful. I wouldn't cut across in a straight line, just slightly cutting at a bit of an angle, but just small, tiny little bits. Don't go all in. Right,
okay. Yeah, and obviously you don't want us all to become experts at doing our own grooming, because then you'd be out of business. So, but the point I made a while ago is that you are well trained, and I think we're now starting to realise the skill that people like yourselves have, Katrina, and that we can't live without you.
I know, and do you know what? I don't think, we want you all to be amazing at doing your hair as well, because it makes us look even better than what we are, because
it does, yeah.
Exactly, and people will be able to kind of say, oh, your hair is gorgeous, even if you're able to manage it yourself. But at the same time, that human connection of the client coming into the salon, that's always going to be there, and the clients will come back to us, and they're going to want to come back to us, because I know they're going to.
I can see a situation where at the time that salons and barbers and hairdressers reopen, there'll be panic buying of them when it actually happens. All right, Katrina, well done, and thanks very much indeed for talking to us.
Thank you so much, Adrian. See you again.
Bye bye. There you go. Once again, stay socialandeducate.com is the website if you want to get some of those tutorials. This is Adrian Kennedy. You're listening to 98 FM's Dublin Talks. Now, next on the programme, this is going too far. We're being treated like children. Ireland is turning into a police state in front of our very eyes. What harm am I doing if I want to go for a 2-hour drive on Sunday staying in my car? The guards basically have the power to do what they want now. These are just some of the comments posted by listeners on our Facebook page in the last hour, following the announcement late yesterday that new powers are to be given to the Gardaí for Easter weekend. Gardaí will now have powers to arrest and detain members of the public who deliberately break the advice of the public health authorities during the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. The government signed off on the measures yesterday, and they were signed by Health Minister Simon Harris and the Taoiseach last night. And in fact, this was Minister Simon Harris speaking on last night's prime time.
This evening, myself and the Taoiseach and the Minister for Justice met with the Garda Commissioner, the Attorney General, and we met the Chief Medical Officer. And this evening I will be signing regulations to give the Gardaí those powers. Let me say this, though. The Garda Commissioner was very clear in this regard. The level of compliance is very high. The Irish people are being super. But it is important the Gardaí have these these powers in their back pocket, so that if they do need enforcement powers, they have them. I think that's what most people in this country would expect and want the Gardaí to have, but they'll continue their normal strategy of working with the people and assisting the communities. But it is important, as I say, that they have them there as a reserve in their back pocket should they be needed.
Okay, so basically, people who, over this coming long weekend, decide that they're not going to abide by the guidelines, if the Gardaí are convinced that they're deliberately breaking the guidelines, they could face prosecution, a maximum of 6 months in prison, or a fine of $2,500. After the break, I'm going to play some audio from a video that has been circulating on social media of a guy literally taking the mick out of this whole thing, and a conversation he had with a Garda. Actually, no, I'll play it for you now, just before I go to the break. So this is a video that's been circulating on social media of a guy and his conversation with the Gardaí. And when you hear this, you will see why it has come to pass that that the government have been forced to bring in these new powers for the Gardaí. Have a listen to this.
How's it going? You well? Where am I coming from? Cabra. Cabra.
Going where?
Just going for a spin.
Going for a spin?
Yeah.
So you're not allowed to go for a spin then?
Oh, shit, is there a law against it? Or I haven't been up to date, I'll be honest with you. I don't know if there's a law. I rang your headquarters this morning. I was talking with one of your colleagues there. I was asking specifically about the laws, and she said she couldn't direct me to any law, and I just told her, I just want to be sure in case I want to go for a spin or call to my girlfriend or whatever. She said it's just common sense. I was like, well, once there's no law, I'm happy about it. So
you're not supposed to be out now unless it's essential, really.
But if you show me the law that tells me I can't be out, I won't be out. But until then,
you don't. So you don't think it's necessary with the public health crisis at the minute that you should follow the guidelines?
Going for a spin? No, I don't see any problem with that. There's nobody in the car, as you can see. You're the closest person I've spoke to since I started my drive.
With the car, no?
I might go for a walk. I'll call to my girlfriend's house as well, but
You're supposed to be walking 2 kilometres from your house.
Look, as I say, if there's a law against it, I won't do it. But until that point, I'm entitled to do it, so I'm going to keep doing it. Thank you. There you go now. No law against it. Do as you please.
And that's the point. He proved a point by... The guard could do nothing to him, essentially. And the guard let him go. And he went on his merry way. And we want to find out whether or not you support these new measures that the Gardaí have been given, which will be implemented for this weekend. A maximum of 6 months in prison, or a fine of $2,500 if you are found to be deliberately flouting the regulations that we have in place at the moment. I'd like to hear from you on 6797 981. You can text, WhatsApp, or send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98.
The sound of the city from Ballybrack to Ballymun.
Dublin Talks.
98 FM's Dublin Talks.
And this is Adrian Kennedy. We're here till midday today. For this weekend, the Gardaí will have new powers to essentially enforce the guidelines that have been set down by the government for us not to leave our homes when at all possible, to only leave to do essential shopping, and if you're out for a walk, stay within 2 kilometres of your own home. Now, we're not the only country in Europe. In fact, most countries in Europe at this point have very similar regulations in order to prevent the spread of the COVID-19 virus. And indications are we're getting somewhere. However, if you decide over this coming bank holiday weekend to take the mick out of this and ignore the guidelines and go off for a long drive down to Galway or whatever, the Gardaí will now have the power to arrest and prosecute you, and if on conviction, you could be fined $2,500 or a maximum of 6 months in prison. So, you know what just got real, basically. And we're asking whether or not you support these measures in order to make people not take the mickey out of the recommendations for this coming bank holiday weekend. And we have a long weekend ahead of us. We have Good Friday, Saturday, Easter Sunday and Bank Holiday Monday, where the weather is meant to be lovely. Well, it's certainly beautiful today. And it's meant to kind of hold out for the weekend. You heard that recording that I played for you a couple of minutes ago. And the guy, he just challenged the Garda. And the Garda could do nothing to him. Now, the Gardaí will be able to. Niamh, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Niamh?
It's Niamh, how are you?
Oh, Niamh, sorry, Niamh,
yeah,
sorry.
Grand, yeah, not a bother.
No.
I actually did post on the thing. I was just on the Facebook page there, a few comments. I don't have a problem with the process. It's the actual laws is I have a serious problem with, because they're saying they will run till November. But you're listening.
Who's saying that? I haven't heard anyone saying that.
Well, this is what we're being told, and it's in the Irish Independence that these laws they're open-ended. And that's my problem, is we're changing laws here and no one's...
Sorry, my understanding of these laws, these powers that the Gardaí have been given, is that they only apply until this Sunday. No longer than that. Now they're there,
but the lockdown. And then
he has to keep re-signing it. The minister has to keep re-signing it. What he has signed for now lasts until this Sunday only. Okay, and if he finds that next weekend the Gardaí need that power again next weekend, then he has to re-sign it next weekend. So it's not forevermore.
Okay, well that's the problem. We're getting a lot of conflict and stuff in the media of all different things, and it's just ridiculous. And the biggest problem that we also have, Adrian, facing the country right now is the uncertainty. We don't know. Like they call this lockdown at 9 o'clock on a Friday night. It was the most ridiculous thing ever. My business actually closed on the 19th. I had to close on the 19th of February. Because people didn't want you in their house because of the fear. Why couldn't they just sit down and say, listen, this isn't going to work. For 4 weeks, we're going to have to stop everything. Apart from essential travel, I don't know how many cyclists I drove past yesterday going over to the supermarket, which is just over 2 kilometres away, but it's my only one. Hundreds of them. Young fellas on bikes, cycling 5 and 6 in groups, and the guards said nothing about them. That's fair enough.
Okay, but you heard from that recording of the guy basically challenging the guard. There was nothing that Garda could do other than say, well, look, it's the public health advice. You're not meant to be out unless it's essential. And when he said, well, look, I'm just going for a spin, the guard couldn't do anything to him, couldn't arrest him, couldn't threaten prosecution against him, could literally do nothing. So don't we need powers... Or don't the Gardaí need powers to be able to say, look, if you don't go home, I'm going to arrest you?
Yeah, well, 10, 20 years ago, that would have worked. Do you know what I mean? It was actually the threat of it would have done enough. And you see, we've become a totally different society. I don't know how many judgmental people we have in the world now, but it's like it's gone up 100,000-fold. You know what I mean? Everyone makes a presumption without looking at the real facts. Like, what was the guy doing? I get there's going to be hundreds of people that are going to go, oh, look, I'm just going to do my own thing, and that's the end of it.
And there's already been evidence of that, of people from Dublin heading down to the west of Ireland, to holiday homes and stuff like that.
Now, that's been ridiculous. Everyone listening would
But isn't that the point? That, okay, so say, for example, if I had a holiday home in Galway, okay, and I decide myself and my missus, look, we'll take a chance, we'll head off down to Galway, and a guard stops me on the way, and he says, where are you going? And I do exactly what that guy did on the tape. I'm just going for a spin. And the guard has to essentially say, well, I'd prefer if you went home, but okay, on your way. He doesn't have the power, or hasn't had the power, to say, absolutely not, you're not going for a spin, please go straight home. So doesn't it make sense that they have that power?
I'm just worried about where the power ends. Like, I know what you're saying now, Mr. Harris can sign this whenever he wants, but there's nothing stopping him signing it every week.
No, there isn't. And this is all dictated. This is all dictated by the way in which people are behaving, and the vast majority of people are behaving, are going along with the guidelines, and won't ever have an issue with the Garda.
Oh, but there's going to be an element of probably 5% of the population that won't listen to anything anyway. That's just kind of a general thing.
Yes, and is it not right then that the Gardaí have measures or have powers that they can say, no, you are not taking the mickey out of 95% of Irish society?
Do you know, it's a kind of a double-edged sword. I get the ideology behind it, and the lockdown does work to a degree because it's flattening the curve, as they say, and whatever. The figures are still rising despite the fact that we're in this lockdown. It's not going to end on Sunday.
No, it's not. We know that. It's kind
of self-evident. We all kind of know that. But it's a bit like the drink-drive laws. You have drink-drive laws, but still people will drink-drive. And that's the problem that we
Yes,
need.
but I know, and I agree. But if you decide to, but if you decide to give the two fingers to drink-drive laws and you're stopped by the Gardaí will do you. If you decide to give the two fingers to these regulations, and they're not even laws, they're regulations, the Gardaí can do nothing to you. So that's why they've needed these new powers. Stay there for a second. 6797 981 is our telephone number. Angela, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Angela.
How are you doing?
Now, Angela, what did you want to say on this?
I just want to say, if we didn't have bad behaviour in the first place, we wouldn't have these laws being brought in.
That's exactly the point,
It's the good for our health, it's good for our grandparents, it's good for our own kids, it's good for everybody. It's just for a couple of weeks. It's not until November. I don't know where he got the idea.
No, I don't know where he got that from either.
I'm not giving out or anything. I'm just saying I don't know where he got that idea, because I didn't see that idea either.
Let me just clarify this again, Angela.
Yeah?
Last night, Simon Harris signed the order that gives the guards these powers. It only lasts until Sunday. And then, if the Gardaí feel that they need, the people are taking the mick again, he can sign it again next weekend if he has to. But it's only based on how people are behaving.
But you only have to look at when people were down in Glendalough, and people even in Dublin and parks, even this weekend and last weekend, it's everywhere. People are not staying in. The majority of people are staying in, but some few that won't, or the few that will be given out next week, that they're in the hospital bed and they're not getting this and they're not getting that and they're not getting the other. So prevention is better than cure.
Okay, so you fully support this temporary power being given to the Gardaí to enforce
I
the
fully
regulations.
support this temporary power, yes. Temporary power, I understand. Not full power that it's going to go on for years and years. Nobody wants that.
No, of course
I don't even
not,
think
no.
the guards want that.
No, of course
never
they
mind
don't,
anybody
no.
else. They just, but I mean, Gemma Doherty was on yesterday, or Dolly, whatever her name is. She was on yesterday. She was abusing a guard yesterday, and that poor guard had to stand there and take it.
Yeah, he did.
Because that's his job.
I saw
and
the
I
video.
have
And
to say, she owes him an apology for that. But that's another matter altogether.
It is?
But the guards need some power.
To be able to enforce these rules,
They're not going out willy-nilly to everybody going, you can't go shopping, you can't do this.
No.
It's for big groups. It's for the likes of people that are not adhering to the rules, and it's a rule that's in for your safety, not for anything else.
All right, Angela, thank you very much indeed. Call me right now on 6797 981. Text, WhatsApp, or send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. After the break, I'm going to be talking to a guy who is in Alicante in Spain, where their rules are very draconian. It's just gone 11 o'clock across Dublin. Good morning. This is Adrian Kennedy. This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks. And this is Emma with Wednesday's top headlines.
Thanks, Adrian. Good morning. The intensive care unit at the Mater Hospital is full. It comes after the highest death toll from COVID-19 yesterday, with 36 people passing away. People who continuously break coronavirus restriction rules could face a fine or jail. New emergency laws have come into effect to restrict people's movements for the next 5 days. A man in his 30s is due in court after an assault and public order incident in Skerries. Shortly before 5 a.m, Gardaí discovered a man in front of a house armed with a hatchet and 2 knives. He threatened Gardaí and smashed the window of a patrol car before extra units arrived, and the man was apprehended. And tickets for the Scripps 2 free gigs at the 3 Arena have been snapped up. The band will play to 24,000 frontline healthcare staff next February 8th and 9th. And now you're up to date on 98.
98 FM's Dublin Talks. Call 6797 981.
And this is Adrian Kennedy with you until midday today. As you just heard in our bulletin there, the Garda have been issued with new powers of enforcement for people breaching the current lockdown rules that we have in place, although I know the government doesn't like calling it lockdown, but that's essentially what it is, really. Anyhow, if you are found deliberately flouting the rules, in other words, gathering in a large group or travelling miles from your home with no valid reason for doing so, you could face a maximum of 6 months in prison or a fine of $2,500. Let's have a listen to a couple of WhatsApp voice notes. Ashley says it's necessary, but a little bit late.
I believe this is what needs to be done now, but I don't believe it should have came to this in the first place. The government allowed how many hundred Italian people come over from one of the worst affected areas. They left open our airports. They didn't close our borders. They don't have the proper screening. They still don't have the proper testing. They are in court at the moment for not paying for respiratory equipment that is badly needed. But yeah, we'll all blame it on the teenagers. Not the parents of these teenagers who are roaming the roads, but the teenagers. The government have a way of turning people against each other and making everyone think that it's someone else's fault but their own, when really this lies solely on the shoulders of the government.
All right, thank you very much indeed, Ashley. Let me go to Spain now, and Lewis is calling from Alicante in Spain. How are you, Lewis?
Hello, Adrian. Good morning to you. The first time I've called you, I came across you guys on a trip to Dublin. And I tried to listen from Spain. I'm a Spaniard, but I used to live in the UK, and I try to listen to you guys when I can, and I've been listening in disbelief over the last few weeks of what's happening there compared to here.
Okay, let's compare. And by the way, thanks for listening, Lewis. We really appreciate it. Let's compare. And in Spain, which tragically has the highest rates of COVID-19 in the whole of Europe now, the lockdown imposed in Spain is very restrictive, isn't it?
Yeah, well, right now, the latest figures are we're just under 147,000 infected and just under 15,000 deaths. Yesterday, I think there was just over 757 deaths. Now, that sounds like figures, but this is a very serious matter. And when I've been listening over the last couple of weeks, we've been on full lockdown. I've been working from home on full lockdown since the Friday the 13th of March. That Friday at midnight, all the bars, restaurants, everything closed down. There is nothing open that is not either a supermarket, a pharmacy, a tobacconist, funnily enough, and you are not allowed to be on the street. Well, actually, you can walk your dog if you've got a dog, but barring that, if you're out on the street with no reason other than going shopping or walking the dog, it can be up to a €600 fine.
Okay, and my understanding is that people are abiding by it. Is that right?
They are generally, but there are always some idiots, even though you hit them hard in their wallet. This weekend, funnily enough, with Easter coming, we're having people coming down from Madrid, from other places in Spain, down to the Alicante area, which is being totally irresponsible. And the police are actually doing stop checks, which, funnily enough, I got stopped the other day, because unless you're a key worker and you have a letter from your employer confirming you're a key worker, you can't be out in the car driving or moving.
And it's the exact same here, in that I'm in work today, but I carry a letter in my car which I show the guards at checkpoints to give me permission to come to work. But you said at the start of this, Lewis, that you listened. You've been listening in disbelief. Disbelief about what? What has shocked you here?
That you've been on a soft lockdown for so long that you should have gone into full lockdown sooner, because the sooner you do it, the quicker you come out the other end. I mean, I was listening to your show the other day with a lady that had a child with autism, and you managed to find a McDonald's to get some hash browns.
Yes, that's right.
And there was a comment that Subway was open, but McDonald's wasn't. There are certain things that just don't. I can't get my head around the fact that McDonald's and Burger King, wherever are open, Why?
No,
Subway...
they're not open.
Oh, sorry, closed. Sorry, closed. And why is Subway open? Or that's what I heard the other day. You need to shut down completely if you want to get through this, because sooner or later you're going to have to lock down.
We are pretty much shut down. It's very similar to Spain. Supermarkets, pharmacies.
But you can still go out for a run. You can still meet up in groups of up to not too long ago.
Well, no, we're not allowed. We're allowed to go for a walk within 2 kilometres of our house, and we are not allowed to congregate in groups of more than 2 people. So the rules are there. It's just the enforcement of them is the issue.
Here, nothing. The other day I went shopping, and on my way back I bumped into somebody, and I was speaking with them through the window of this person's house, and the police told me to move on. That if I go shopping, I go home, and that's it. There are no stops on the way to say hello or anything. It's just they're back, and that's it.
And have you had police approach you and tell you to move on?
Oh yes, and that happens generally. If you're out there without a valid reason, or you're not walking a dog, or you're not going shopping with your shopping bag, you have to show your receipt of purchase as proof if you get stopped. And unless you're out there with a specific reason, you get a fine. The other day they managed to find some idiot running a clandestine bar, opening through the back doors to some of the clients. And the police found out, shut them down, and €26,000 fine.
Ooh, right. That's fairly hardcore.
But I mean, the thing is, even hitting the wallet, there are still idiots out there that will flaunt the rules. And I mean, I was listening to the audio you put on about the Garda with this guy that got stopped. That's just being irresponsible, because it's not about him getting infected and whether he gets ill. It's how many people he can infect in his day-to-day because of that stupidness. I don't know if I'm explaining myself.
No, you are. So what you're saying is, speaking from a country that has really been hit hard by this virus, and touch wood, Ireland isn't in the same place in terms of how severe the impact has been in terms of lives and cases and everything else. Even proportionate to our population, we're nowhere near where Spain is. But you're saying quite clearly, obey the rules, or you could end up like Spain, I suppose.
Exactly. Well, we weren't at this stage, and we thought it was all going to just be water off a duck's back. And the thing is here, the problem is here, if you've got a large sector of the community that is of an advanced age, they are the ones at most risk. So anybody over 60, 70, and especially if they're male, they're the ones that are high risk. So you go out doing your bits and bobs, or going for a jog, or going for a cycle, and then you go and see your grandmother, or you go and see your mother, or go... And you, next thing you know, you've contaminated 5 or 6 people, who in turn will contaminate more. And old people's homes here in Spain have been a major problem, because once you get one case in there, they go down like dominoes.
I don't know if you've heard our news. We do have a similar issue here with nursing homes, and a number of clusters, and a lot of clusters and a lot of nursing homes here in Ireland as well. And hopefully that can be brought under control. Lewis, do you see, from Spain's point of view, any light at the end of the tunnel at all?
Yeah, I mean, similar to the WhatsApp message you got there. I mean, we went through that phase that you're going through right now, which is blaming the government, blaming the airports not being closed, blaming everything else. At the moment, there are rumours that we've reached peak. I mean, statistics are statistics. I don't trust them, to be quite honest. There are rumours that we're with contagious cases that we've reached more or less, that we've levelled out, but the deaths are still not coming down. We went down to just under 600 a few days back, then gone back up again. The peak that we had was 900, and I think it was about 950-something deaths in 24 hours. And the thing is that I would never, if you said to me 3 weeks ago that I was going to be where we are now, I wouldn't believe it. This is why it's very important that you guys realise that these measures have to be taken for the good of everyone. And unless that gets done, you're not going to get anywhere. And I've been through that. And we've lived through it, and we're far ahead of you. And in the UK, it's a similar problem. I'm reading, and I keep up to date with what's happening in the UK and mainland, and it's a similar problem. They still haven't got to grips with how serious this is.
All right, well, I think generally speaking, Lewis, Irish people do get this. Irish people are behaving, are going by the rules that are in place. It's just, like you said, in Spain with people heading down to Alicante for their holidays in the middle of all of this, there are always some idiots. Lewis, it's been a pleasure talking to you, and thanks very much indeed.
Likewise, my best to you and the family and everybody else.
Thanks very much indeed. Now, Paul, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Paul? I know you've been hanging on for ages. My apologies for keeping you waiting. What did you want to say on this?
No, I was on the show yesterday and hoping the Guards would get these powers, and now they have them. Like that jackass who made that recording, that man went deliberately out just to provoke the Guards.
It would appear so. It would appear so. And I don't know if you've seen the video. This is widely circulated on social media. He deliberately filmed from what looked like the passenger seat of his car, but he knew that there was nothing that the Garda could do.
Yeah, but you see, now that law, if that law wouldn't have come in last night, Adrian, the thing would have happened is you'd have more jackasses going out deliberately driving towards checkpoints and saying to the Guards, you F off, you can't do nothing to me.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's not a law. And if the people in this country, as you say, loads of people, the majority of the people are doing this for the good of the country. The same little few, do they want this country to end up like England, France, Spain, America? No, that's what's going to happen. And I wouldn't jail them. If they were caught twice, double the fine and take the money out of their wages if they're working or out of their dole money if they're not working. They just have to... The Guards are only doing what the government tells them to do.
Absolutely,
the Guards is not out there to wreck everybody's life. Like, I've been sitting in the house for 4 weeks and it's driving me up the walls, but I have to do it. You know,
and like you said, Paul, it's driving all of us up the walls. We all want this to end. And the way to make this end is to bring this virus under control. And the way to bring the virus under control is for us all to stay away from each other and stay at home.
Yeah, like that last lady was on there saying, blame the government, blame this, blame that. It's here, deal with it, and we are trying to deal with it. But of course, you're going to get the few jackasses who go out, and only if there are new laws that come in, you would have had people on the roads today driving into checkpoints to just provoke Guards. And then the Guards could get caught with this disease. I know there's social distance when they're stopping because I've been stopped at checkpoints coming home from work myself, but they're only doing what they've been paid to do, bringing in the law and trying to keep the country safe. But as you say, and most of the people I think that listen to your show that will agree with me, if they don't do the law, by the law, fine them, don't send them to jail because it would cost the state more.
That's actually true, yeah. So so you fully support the Gardaí now having the powers of a $2.5 fine on conviction for people who are deliberately flouting the regulations?
It shouldn't even be, Adrian, a conviction in court. It should be on the spot there and then. And you have so many days to pay it, or a month to pay it, or whatever it is. I don't know what the rules of paying fines are, but on the spot fines.
Okay, so say for example, there was an example the other day that the Gardaí actually tweeted about where people in a car in Fermoy in County Cork were stopped at a checkpoint, and the guard said, "Where are you from?" "Oh, we're from Meath," was the answer. And we just went out for a spin. So you would immediately fine those people $2.5 on the spot.
Each.
Well,
4 people in the car.
Oh, right, okay, yeah, fair enough. Okay, stay there for a second, Paul. 6797-981 is our telephone number. Let's have a listen to this WhatsApp from James.
Hi, Adrian. Hi, Jeremy. People that are calling for these restrictions to be put in place that are sitting at home, that's all well and good. If you're social distancing, you shouldn't have a problem. That's like, I don't have an issue with people that want to sit home. If I want to walk my dog a mile away from my house or 2 miles away from my house, I should be able to do so. I shouldn't be getting fines for that. I'm also not meeting my child's grandparents. I'm not meeting my mother because of the social distancing. I'm not going out of the town, but I don't believe that if I'm walking whatever distance from my house up to the shops that I should be getting fines. I don't think powers like that should be given to Garda from people that haven't been elected. They came in third place I think it's ridiculous for them to be writing in laws that they just have no power to do so. People calling for these things, they're the worst. They're the worst people, because you're giving your rights away. Why would you do that? You know, you're doing that now. What are they going to take in the future? It's just going to go on and on and on. They're going to take more and more stuff away from you that you can't do, give you more fines for stuff that just, it's just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
What's ridiculous, James, is that some people have decided to give the two fingers to the majority of us who are playing by the rules, who are staying at home, who aren't going for long drives down the country. That's the ridiculous thing, because these powers that the Gardaí have been given wouldn't have been necessary if people were actually playing ball. Well, everybody. 95+% of us are. It's the 5% who think the law doesn't apply to them or the rules don't apply to them. Jade, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Jade.
Hi, how are you today?
Good, thanks. What did you want to say?
Well, I just think that it's necessary under the circumstances. Like, you know, if you look around, I've just had to pay my respects to a neighbour of ours by standing at my hall door. It's just, the situation is not getting any better. I myself personally have a long-term illness, so therefore I'm completely cocooning at the moment. I have been able to leave the house. I also have a 16-year-old teenager, which is making it even more fun under the circumstances, who hasn't left the house. And I do think a lot of this, you know, there's a lot of finger-pointing. Blame the government, I think the police need to put this into place so people start listening. Like, it's not the summer holidays, it's not picnic time and break for fish and chips.
And much and all, as an ordinary Easter weekend with the weather that we're having, would be a time to go travelling all around the country and going to the west of Ireland and going to Brave and having your chips. I think the point the guards are trying to make and the government are trying to make, this isn't an ordinary Easter weekend.
Exactly, and unfortunately, you know, that socialising thing is in Irish people. It's just bred into us. It's very difficult for people to overcome it, but it is what it is. And you know, if I haven't seen my grandparents in nearly 4 weeks, I haven't interacted with anyone, and it's all down to people not abiding by the guidelines. That's why this is being put in place, so that people finally listen, will finally be able to see some light at the end of the tunnel. It won't be a constant extension of, okay, 2 more weeks of lockdown. Well, I know they're not using the word lockdown, which is a word I think they should be using more frequently, because people just aren't listening. And then now we're looking in the Manor Hospital at the moment, 18 beds in ICU. I know if I develop the coronavirus tomorrow, that's exactly where I'll be going directly to, because I've no immune system. And now they're going to have to put 18 beds in high dependency.
And it is sad that we have to keep reminding people what this is all about. Today in the news we heard that the ICU in the Mater Hospital is full. They can take no more.
18 beds, full capacity. They've had to reopen 18 more beds as an ICU dependent in the high dependency unit. So therefore now the people coming out of ICU, you know, they're going to have to redevelop the high dependency unit, because the 18 high dependency unit beds are now being used for ICU. Like, people need to start taking these figures into consideration. The numbers don't lie. And obviously the fact that we're peaking at the moment and people aren't listening and following the guidelines. And then you feel like the people, like the video that went around yesterday with Gemma, completely disrespecting guards that are just genuinely trying to do their job and protect the people. You know, it really is what it is. And if people just listened, these kind of things wouldn't be put into place, and it doesn't matter.
And that is the reality of it. And because there was anecdotal evidence over the last day or two of people heading down the west of Ireland to their holiday homes. So these aren't those people aren't toe rags who are just ignoring the law. A lot of them are probably posh people who have second homes down the country, and they've given the two fingers and think it's perfectly okay for them to travel to the west of Ireland. And that's why we've had to bring this in. Stay there for a second, Jade. I have to take a very quick break. We'll take another couple of calls on this. A huge reaction to this. We're talking about whether or not, well, we're asking, do you support the Gardaí now having powers to imprison you for 6 months or fine you $2,500 if you deliberately flout the rules? Martin, we mentioned this just a second ago, and Martin is saying people need to get into their heads that this is not a normal Easter weekend.
It's a bank holiday weekend coming up, and normally we'd all be going out, we'd be all going to our holiday homes, we'd all be travelling, we'd be all going on holidays. I just can't understand why people can't just get it into their heads that this weekend is different, and that this weekend we have to obey by the laws and the rules that have been set by the Garda and by the government. It's only one weekend. When all this is over and done with, we'll have plenty of weekends to enjoy life to the max. By going out this weekend, we're causing the spread of this virus, and we could cause more deaths. So please, people, can you just stay in this weekend and stay at home? This is Martin.
Thank you, Martin. Anita, I'm going to talk to you straight after the break. You are actually living in Paris. You're a Drogheda woman living in Paris.
I am.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm going to find out what life is like in Paris in just a second. Stay there.
The sound of the city from Clondalkin to Clontarf.
Dublin Talks.
98 FM's Dublin Talks.
Let's bring in a couple of WhatsApp messages. Unbelievable reactions to this, actually. And I think it is fair to say that the majority of you are in favour of these powers being given to the Gardaí, where if you are deliberately flouting the regulations that are in place over this coming weekend, in fact, they're in place now, and last until Sunday. If you deliberately flout the regulations for us to stay at home and socially distance and all of that, you could face a $2,500 fine or a term in prison. Amy says that the only people who have an issue with these laws are the ones who actually want to break it.
In my opinion, the only people who have a problem with these laws are the people that intend to break them. Just stay at home. It's not that hard.
It's hard. It's not that hard. Scott says idiots like the guy in the car are the ones that have forced these laws to be brought in.
It's idiots like that guy in that car that are unknowingly going to kill people. I mean, does it have to come to the stage where they put extra laws in place where they go, no, the army's going to come in and we'll ration the food, we'll deliver it door to door. You stay in your house and that's it. I mean, there's people giving warnings all across the world saying, don't leave your house, please. There's thousands of people dying. I mean, what does it have to come to?
All right, Anita, as I said, is listening to us in Paris, originally from Drogheda in County Louth. How are you, Anita?
I'm very well, thank you. Enjoying the sun from my balcony.
How long are you in Paris?
I've been here on and off since 2012.
Okay, so you're well settled, almost Parisian at this stage. Almost. Now, the lockdown in Paris is fairly stringent as well. You haven't been outside the house for a number of weeks. How are you coping, and how are they enforcing the lockdown regulations in Paris?
Well, they advised us, anybody with children or anybody who's 70 plus or with, long-term illness, kind of the same message that was given out to everybody, to self-isolate before they put the full on. And here we use the word lockdown. This is full-on lockdown, what we are in. We have armies patrolling the streets. We have unmarked police cars sitting on quiet little roads that are used usually for jogging, and people just sitting having, coffee in the park. And we have full-on proper lockdown here. We have a 4-year-old son here, so since school finished, it'll be 4 weeks on Friday. We have only gone out to shop. So we alternate. We can shop about every 5 days, purely for, a transportation reason. So,
really? Sorry, you can't go shopping every day?
Oh, no. So basically it's usually the same police that I hear. Did I not see you yesterday? Can you not, shop a little bit more than what you're doing? So they've advised to not frequent the supermarkets here, to leave the daily part for people who are, shopping for, I don't know, their loved ones who can't go out, etc. But here, they've asked, especially in our particular district, to go out between every 3 to 5 days if necessary.
Other than that, you're not to leave your house?
Other than that, no. And
now, I know. You are allowed out, I believe, for exercise, but they've, in Paris specifically, had to clamp down on that and stop people jogging during the day.
So each district, there are districts prior to this that have had a curfew from, depending on the particular district, from in the evening time, starting from around 8 o'clock in the evening until 5 in the morning. So they've done this. Also now, as of 12 o'clock today, physical exercise is not part of a valid reason to go outside. That it's shut down. Each district has their own times and their own schedule of when it's shut down. So for our particular district here, and we're just outside the city, it's from 7:30 p.m. until 10:30 p.m. There is nobody to go out jogging. And to be honest, while we are quite serious about it here, at the same time, the minute the sun comes out, it's a bit like at home. You can see them sort of jogging on each side of the road, so you know they've left together. However, there is no exercising in couples here. There is no going to the supermarket in couples. I speak to my sisters and my mum and everybody at home, and I hear, I don't know, I just can't seem to drum it into them, where they're like, well, we just tipped up to Aldi because, just to get out of the house, and we went, and I'm like, you can't do that. Do you know what I mean? You don't just go and see so-and-so in the car park, or, and it's fine, I stood 2 meters away and I waved at, my friend or my granny, or, no.
Okay, so even the sort of, we're describing it as a lockdown. Listening to what you're describing from Paris, it isn't. It is very restrictive, but people are, in fact, I've known of people who, geez, I'm bored, I'm going to the shops. Do you know what I mean?
Well, this is true. Well, mostly as well, can I just say, so like any of the days that we've gone to the supermarket, you're talking about a 45-minute queue to get in.
Yeah, it was the exact same here. It's the exact same here.
So with your, and actually here, they've now done on the self-checkouts and stuff, the spacing, so like sticker spacing between where you need to stand when you're queuing in the supermarket.
Yeah, our supermarkets are the exact same as well over here.
And they've shut down any outdoor markets, anything like that that's going to help what we're doing. Like we're up at over 10,000 deaths here. And if people can't put that into consideration, think of like the size of a small village in Ireland. That's the only terms that they can think of.
Okay, and so the reality of it is, listening to what you're describing, if we don't flatten the curve here in Ireland, the next stage could be exactly what you're living with, where you have literally not been outside your door. You can go shopping every 5 days, all of that. So people need to listen. That's really your message, isn't it?
I think that even if it's not in full lockdown as you are now, I don't understand where the confusion lies. Do you know what I mean? For me, you might not be on your own island just yet, but all you need to do is look, all these places that you want to go and bring your kids and go on holidays, look what's happening to them, and we're doing what we're told. And I honestly I understand what that chap said about, 20 years ago, maybe the guards would be able to say, don't do this, blah, 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 and I get that. See, over here, you have it, the kids, adults, everybody. You have a fear of the police.
Yeah, which we don't have here. And our police force polices by consent, basically, and most of us respect the Garda, but there is a minority that just... in fact, I don't know if you saw... I don't know if you're able to watch RTE over there, or TV, or Virgin Media.
And I've seen,
Inside the K would just give you an example of the lack of respect that people have for the guards.
But do you know what? Can I just say one more thing, if you don't mind? Just to say, is that I wouldn't even give this option until Sunday. I've seen the videos. I have all of my family, like we have one family here, which is my husband's mother and father. They're both over 70, so we haven't seen them. All of my family is back in Ireland. And I've seen the Facebook videos, the posts, all these kinds of, just going for a walk, and there's like 300 people on a beach. And they should do what they did here. The minute that they did a soft lockdown here, they shut all the beaches, they shut all the parks. You want to walk for exercise, okay, you walk up and down your road, you get your fresh air, and you get back home. Because until it affects your own house, currently, we got a call last week to say our perfectly healthy 34-year-old cousin is in ICU in the hospital in Dublin. Perfectly healthy young chap, but he worked in one of the hotels that stayed open to help the frontline staff. And he's now infected and fighting for his life. And that's a 34-year-old chap who was doing the right thing. But it's not the point. It comes to somebody's door, and it will come. And until then, your man like James, until it's his granny or until it's his auntie or his mother, They won't see it. I would put the army on the streets. I would put security guards, anybody who usually works in a line of defence, and put them on the streets and patrol the streets and get them at home. That's just it, because it's the only message that they understand, apparently, in Ireland, is to be told what to do.
Yep, well, that's after happening, and we've given our police force some extra powers now that they can stop people doing all of those things. Anita, I asked the guy in Spain a while ago, is there any light at the end of the tunnel in France?
For the minute, they originally had the date of the 14th of April here. I don't believe that it's likely. I don't even think we've seen our peak, to be quite honest with you. We had a dip there for a few days. However, I think, they're only seeing some people who are maybe in hospital. You also have to think of, I suppose, all the people who are currently in hospital, none who weren't relative to this particular
Absolutely,
disease,
yeah.
but have probably contracted it now. Therefore, I don't believe, I would say we're looking at probably the beginning of June here. I'd say if we're lucky, the beginning of June, to start easing people back in. And I'm fine with that. Don't get me wrong, we have a 4-year-old stuck in an apartment, but I mean, you people crave this. All they talk about, I remember being on a discussion here with you about Christmas, about people not getting time off to spend with their family.
Oh, I remember that, yeah.
This is what you've wanted. You wanted to spend time with your family. You want to have that contact and see your kids. I know it's not the best circumstance, but do the things that you never get to do. Do you know what I mean? Enjoy the things that you never get to do. How many times can you say that you sat and spent an entire day watching Disney films or listening to your kid tell you a story that's like 6 hours long? Or this is the stuff that people give out about, that they work too hard and they never get to enjoy. Well, there you are.
There you are, is right. All right, Anita, stay safe in Paris, and great to talk to you again. Thanks very much indeed, and happy Easter to you as well. Let me just squeeze in another couple of WhatsApps. This is from Eamon.
Hi, Adrian. Yeah, I just don't get the big deal about it being a long weekend. I mean, we've had a long 3 weeks, People are dying. Just do what we're told and we'll get through this. Thanks, Eamon.
Okay, Janet says this all comes down to parental control as well.
Hi, guys. I think that the parents of teenagers and young kids need to take some responsibility and keep them in. I've seen too many groups of teenagers that are definitely not all from the one family hanging out together, and they just think they're bulletproof. That's what I think.
Okay, and finally, Aaron, you're in a bit of an awkward situation at the moment. Tell us about it.
How is it going? You well? Not too bad. Good. Myself and my girlfriend, we just got the keys to our house the week before this lockdown was enforced now. And I did a bit of work on it, and the state it's in now is it's a building site, right? So, I'm trying to get trades lads out and stuff like that to do bits and pieces, but a lot of them, they can't work because they don't know if the guards are going to turn them around or if they're going to get fined and all. This weekend, my plans were to get my girlfriend's father down from Dublin to the house so he can do a bit of patching. He's a plasterer by trade and all, but I'm just worried in case if I was to go and collect him, if it's a good enough excuse or what have you, In 3 weeks' time, we're moving out of our rented accommodation. And I have a 10-month-old baby, and I can't exactly bring her into the shell of a house that I'm living in now. Like, I'm not able to pick up anything the likes of paint or get lads to work on it. I completely agree with the guards. People that are gathering in groups and having cans or what have you, they should be penalised over that. But the likes of my instance for my circumstance, I suppose we need a bit more clarity about everything with the whole thing,
What clarity do you need?
I suppose, am I going to get stopped if I go down and collect my my partner's father? If I'm going to get stopped, am I going to be get a fine or get face time in prison or anything like that?
Here's the reality of it, Aaron. If you're not shopping, if you're not going to work, or if you're not going out for a walk within 2 kilometres, then you could fall foul of these regulations. So that doesn't include collecting your father-in-law and bringing him down to your house.
All right, so I'd be liable.
I mean, you're, by the sounds of it, it's a drive to where's the house?
It's in Roscommon.
In Roscommon. And your father-in-law lives?
In Dublin.
In Dublin. Absolutely, you would be taking a huge risk doing that.
Exactly, but the thing about it is, like, the longer I leave it, then...
No, I understand the dilemma you're facing, but if I read the rules, this isn't essential work. Now, it is for you, obviously, but it wouldn't be classed as essential work.
Oh, yeah, like, essential work would mean more, like, it's not exactly a life or death situation, but, again, like, I can't expect my baby to live, like, with dust everywhere and holes in the ceiling, holes in the walls and everything, like, you know. Like, I have been in contact with a couple of Garda stations just to get clarity on it, and some are saying, that's all right, but and some aren't, but it's kind of down to who you get stopped by, like, you know.
Well, if I were you, I wouldn't take that risk. Do you know, honestly, especially with that drive, you're talking about driving to Roscommon and back again, I certainly wouldn't take that risk, but that's obviously your choice. But and I understand your dilemma, I understand the work you have to do in the house and everything else, but I certainly wouldn't chance it this weekend anyhow, because they're on full alert this weekend with by the way, those rules only apply to this weekend.
That's true, but again, come Sunday evening, there's nothing to stop them from enforcing it for the week. Like.
No, and they may do. The reality of it is, if it were going to be lashing rain all of this weekend, they wouldn't have bothered with this, because people wouldn't be bothered going out.
Or people like myself and my partner, we're abiding by the rules. We're not going out unnecessarily. The only time I've been out is to go to a shop or anything like that, or to work on the house that I am doing up, essentially. But like, it's all down to people, like, crowds of people going to the beach and meeting up, having hands on the beach and stuff like that, like, you know.
Yeah, and that's what it is trying to prevent. Anyway, like I said, Aaron, I personally wouldn't be taking that chance if I were you this weekend, particularly. And maybe by the following weekend, if it's lashing out of the heavens.
Please God.
Yeah. Anyway, look, I wish you well. It's an awful dilemma to be facing. And thanks very much indeed for your call. Let's finish up with a couple more WhatsApp voice notes.
I think the reason why we had the lockdown was because during the weekend everyone started to flock to Howth and Glendalough, and crowds of people, and they weren't taking the advice of the HSE, and that's why we had the lockdown. And I think it's the same again. The reason why the Garda have all these extra powers now is because they see people going down the countryside to their holiday homes, and they brought in the law to stop people doing that.
Mark says, stop treating us like children.
Hi Adrian, it's Mark here. You're talking about the guards getting the powers to stop people and send them home and being able to find them and all that kind of stuff. But do you not think that the government overreacted in a way, because they didn't act quick enough in the very beginning? They didn't lock down the airports the way they were supposed to lock it down. They allowed all Italians to come in that were obviously a major problem, and other people coming from other countries. We heard about the stories of people just being handed a leaflet at Dublin airport, all that kind of stuff. Ridiculous kind of stuff. And what difference does it make if you go for a drive in your car? You're not interacting with anybody whatsoever. And if you have lucky enough to have a holiday home, what difference would it make? You'd be self-isolating down there as you would be in your own house here. Surely you'd be just going to get supplies like anywhere else. It's not going to make any difference whatsoever. I can't see the difference. If they want to tackle it, go and tackle when they see all the young people hanging around and having their little parties in local parks and all that. Go and tackle that real issue, because that's the real issue that's out there. I don't see why they're not being backed up by the army. There's obviously issues that need to be addressed in society about getting this done, but the reality is most of us are sticking by it, but we shouldn't be treated like children either. So this ridiculous idea of locking people up for 6 months and all that. Where's the prisons? They wouldn't have enough prisons for all that. It's absolutely ridiculous. Go into some areas of Dublin City and they wouldn't even venture into and try to do this kind of stuff. This would be only done in leafy areas of Dublin. That's a fact. Thanks for that, Mark here.
All right, Mark, thank you very much indeed. Sinead is very angry about this as well.
Sorry, it's me again. My name is Sinead. By the way, we've actually had the highest number of deaths. I think it was yesterday or overnight. So can people not just think about that as well? And that guy there waffling on about walking his dog and I don't want to get fined. I bet you he never even walks his dog on a normal day or a normal working week. Jesus, what is wrong with people? Just do it, we'll get over it, and then we'll be all okay. People are actually dying.
And on that note, thank you very much indeed, Sinead. Thank you, all of you, for your calls. The message is stay at home. Now, on the way after the break, let's have a much-needed smile and a laugh. We're back in just a moment. Don't go away.
The sound of the city from Balbriggan to Blanchardstown.
Dublin Talks.
98 FM's Dublin Talks.
During these difficult times, it is important for us, for our own mental well-being, to have a laugh every now and again as well. We have to. And for the last bit of our show today, we want to do exactly that. We want you to share with us your blonde moment. Now, this is a time you did or said something so stupid, so absolutely ridiculously stupid, it can only be described as a blonde moment. Jeremy is here with me.
Yes. And I'm blonde, so I've had
he's
a
not
few
here with
moments.
me. He's socially distanced from me in a different studio. But anyway, Jeremy,
yes,
tell me about your blonde moment.
Well, it's not mine. It's an auntie of mine, and this happened before lockdown. Now, one of my aunties, she doesn't drive, so she doesn't know anything about cars, okay? And she was a passenger in the car. I was bringing her shopping one day, and we went to the forecourt to get petrol in the car. And as you know, you pull into the forecourt and the different pumps are there. And I got out of the car, and I filled up the tank and got back in after I paid. And she turned around to me and she said, and you know what she said actually makes a lot of sense. She said, how does all that petrol come out of that little pump? So she thought that the little pump on the forecourt, that stores all the petrol and that it runs out really quick.
So this box, the motors for the pump, she thought all the petrol was stored inside that?
Yeah, and literally that it empties out every couple of minutes. Now, a lot of people, I would imagine, wouldn't be aware of this, but underneath the petrol forecourt, isn't there a big, huge tank of petrol? Or is that true?
Yeah, and of course it is. Where else do you think the petrol is stored?
Well, I never thought about it before this.
Yeah, the petrol is stored in massive big tanks under the ground in most petrol stations.
So the forecourt that you drive your car onto, underneath that is a huge big tank under the ground?
Yes. Yeah,
and how do they get the petrol into that tank?
With a hose.
Why, there's a hole, is there?
Yeah, obviously there's a pipe going into the tanks that are under the petrol station.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I never knew that either.
Oh, right, okay. That's his blonde moment or his auntie's blonde moment. What is yours? Call us right now on 6797 981. You can text, WhatsApp, or send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. What is your blonde moment? The time you did or said something that was so ridiculously, embarrassingly stupid, it can only be described as a blonde moment. This is from Anya.
So my blonde moment is a long time ago, many moons ago, I was working in a juice bar and a guy came in with a broken arm and we had closed and he wanted a smoothie and I said, oh look, it's fine, I'll make you one. He said, no, it's okay. And I said, oh no, you've got a broken arm. I said, oh you poor thing, how did you break your arm? And he said, playing rugby. I said, oh no, playing rugby, that's terrible. Can you not do your day job? You mustn't be able to work now with your broken arm. And he kind of faltered, and left with this juice. And the next day I found out it was Brian O'Driscoll's.
Oh, that's a blonde moment. Yeah, I like it. Thank you.
But he does have a job, I assume, as opposed to rugby as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, sure. Doesn't he work for Off the Ball? And
he works in our company.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. Now, Shannon, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Shannon.
Hiya, how are you guys?
Shannon, tell me about your blonde moment.
Well, my boyfriend and I were just chilling and he was like, do you know you have to say happy birthday twice when you wash your hands? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, but that doesn't last 20 seconds. Like, that would take me, like, you have to say it really slow. And I actually looked at him and was like, you serious? So you have to sing happy birthday
hang
twice.
on, he thought that the happy birthday thing was just say happy birthday twice.
Yeah, and he was like, that doesn't last 20 seconds.
But who even sings the song that way? Happy birthday, finish.
I know. I was like, Gene, you have your birthday every year. Like, you sing the song.
Happy birthday to you. That is a brilliant blonde moment. Yes, even Jeremy's 5-year-old was able to explain that to us on the radio a couple of weeks ago. So
He's a very smart lad now. If we're going home, I'd be single now, but no, he is. That's why I don't understand. All the brains, and he just didn't get something simple like that.
But Shannon, listen to this one that just came in from Rachel. Now, this is actually... It's funny, but it's actually very bad as well. My friend lives in San Diego and is engaged to a doctor. I was talking on the phone to her the other day and I asked her, what does he specialise in? She told me he's a paedophile. It turns out he's a paediatric doctor. There's a big difference.
A huge
difference.
Shannon,
and I'm normally the one with the blonde moments, because I said to my dad the other day, I was like, what was your dad's second name? And he actually looked at me. And he was like so disappointed. He's like, I actually don't know why.
Oh, that is embarrassing.
What's wrong with you?
So is the happy birthday one. Brilliant, Shannon. Thanks very much indeed.
Thanks, brilliant.
What is your blonde moment? The time you did or said something so stupid it makes you cringe even thinking about it. Pamela, you're on 98 FM. Hiya, Pamela.
Hello.
Hello, Pamela. Pamela, what is your blonde moment?
Oh, God. I actually thought cheese came from cows.
It does.
It doesn't actually come from a cow.
Yeah, but I actually thought it physically came from a cow. I don't know why. I'm so
So they excrete cheese somehow?
Yes.
So, Jeremy, no, cheese does not come directly from a cow.
Oh, like cow just sits on the ground and an easy single comes out of stars.
Yeah, that
I just had that moment. The girl asked me, where does cheese come from? And I said a cow.
It's okay, we had a woman on
Jeremy,
the show.
you actually said the same thing. Well, it does. No, it doesn't.
We had a woman on the show a couple of weeks ago for Blonde Moments, and she believed that, you know, chocolate milk that you get in the shops, yeah?
No.
That it comes from brown cows.
Okay, there's a problem there.
Yeah, that's worse. Yeah. All right, good to talk to you, Pamela. Thank you for sharing with us your blonde moment. Here's a WhatsApp voice note.
Hi, Jeremy. So I was driving into a petrol station with my girlfriend in the car, and I learnt a quick song to remember what side the pump nozzle is on. To soon have my girlfriend point out that on the dashboard where the petrol symbol is, it has an arrow to tell you what side the pump nozzle's on.
Yeah. It's in every car. No, it may not have an arrow in the car, but you know, when you're looking at the petrol tank symbol, depending on what side the handle is the side that it points to as well.
No, but not every car has that, sure, doesn't it?
No, they do.
Oh, do they? Oh.
Yeah. Now, Peter, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Peter?
I'm not too bad.
Peter, share with us, please, your blonde moment.
So, one evening, I was relaxing in my bed, about to play a video game, and I grabbed a charger to plug into my MacBook. Mm-hmm. And it's USB Type-C, so it fits into everything. Yep. And as it happens, that charger was my phone charger, which I didn't realise that at the time. So I was there playing a video game running, wondering why the computer was going dead. So I rang up Apple, and about 20 minutes of talking to Apple on the phone, and they told me that, are you sure you're even using the right charger? So I look around the bed to try and find the charger, and the charger for the computer was at the end of the bed.
So what, you plugged in the wrong charger?
Yeah, I plugged
did you damage it?
5 watt. Oh, God, no. But I plugged in a 5-watt charger into a computer that requires 60 watts of power.
Right. But you rang. That's embarrassing to ring for technical support to find out you plugged the wrong bloody thing in.
Yeah, and I'm a hardware engineer, so
you are? No.
Oh, Genie, Mac.
Oh, that's a blonde moment, if ever I heard one.
Yeah, I've never called Apple about a charging issue since.
How long were you on hold to Apple for? Can you get through to them straight away, or?
It depends. Sometimes you ring them up and you get through to them within 30 seconds, and other times, like in the middle of the week, in the middle of the day, you'll be waiting about 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's actually very efficient, their services. All right, Peter, that's a classic blonde moment. Thanks very much indeed. Here's another WhatsApp voice note.
I used to always do them, lads. Once you meant to say to me, don't choke on that. I don't want to have to do the Heimlich manoeuvre on you, but she said, don't choke on that. I don't have to do the Heineken manoeuvre on you.
That's a completely different manoeuvre, isn't it?
It is a completely different one. Stephanie, tell us about your blonde moment, please.
Hey, well, around 11 years ago, I was pregnant and I was in the car with my parents coming home from an appointment in the Coombe, and we were driving down the Crumlin Road just across from the garage, and I noticed on the other side they were building another one, and I just announced, real matter of fact, isn't it real handy that they found oil on the other side of the road?
Did you actually say that?
I did, and as soon as the words came out of my mouth, I went, oh my God, I'm never going to live this down.
And then you rang a radio show to get everybody to be reminded.
I don't mind, it's funny. I'm over it. It only took 10 years.
That's brilliant. That's even worse than the Jeremy's aunt who thought the petrol actually came out of the box that your pump comes out of. That's brilliant, Steph. Thanks very much indeed. And finally, one final WhatsApp voice note with a blonde moment.
Hi, Adrian and Jeremy. Rona again. Sore throat still. But my blonde moment is actually my blonde moment. I'm forever ringing in with someone else's, but this was me only 2 days ago, out for a walk with my son and the dog within our 2k radius, and we have to cross over Coolmine railway track, and I stopped and I put my arm across my son's chest to stop him, to look left and right. Well, who's the gobshite now? Oh God, my throat.
Because of course the gates would close, wouldn't they? Wouldn't they?
No, she was crossing a bridge, was she not, over the tracks?
Oh, she was crossing a bridge?
Yeah, I think she was crossing like a footbridge over the tracks.
Oh, I didn't cop that bit. Oh, right.
Yeah,
okay.
I think so. The train's not going to knock you down there.
No, it's not, no. All right, thank you very much indeed, all of you, for your calls. They were some great blonde moments, and we'll do that again. It's nice to smile every now and again. Jeremy, thanks very much. Talk to you tomorrow, and we will see you again tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. And if there's anything you'd like to bring up on tomorrow's programme, throw us an email right now to dublintalks@98fm.com. Dublin Talks, all one word, at 98fm.com. Send us an email now if there is anything you'd like us to talk about on Thursday's programme. Have a great Wednesday. Barry Dunn is next, and he's some great music lined up for you in the next hour, like these.
Sound of the city from Coolock to Cabinteely.
Dublin Talks.
98 FM's Dublin Talk.